The Los Angeles Lakers are officially on the hunt. And they're wasting no time. After a disappointing first-round playoff exit, the Lakers front office is already in motion, looking for ways to retool the roster and address the issues that held them back. A team with LeBron James isn't supposed to be packing their bags that early in the postseason. Expectations are higher, and the pressure is on. One area that stood out like a sore thumb? The center position. Leave your like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any updates. When the trade deadline passed without a deal for Mark Williams, a player the Lakers were reportedly targeting, it became clear that their depth at the 5 spot was going to be a major concern. And when the playoffs arrived, that concern became a reality. Jackson Hayes showed flashes, but he wasn't enough. While dominant defensively, the Lakers couldn't rely on a single player to carry the full load at the rim all by himself, especially not over a long playoff run. The Lakers knew they needed help. And now, it seems, they're moving quickly to find it. According to multiple reports, the Lakers have already made contact with veteran center Brook Lopez of the Milwaukee Bucks. Yes, that Brook Lopez. The same one who spent the 2017 to 2018 season in purple and gold. A season that, at the time, went mostly under the radar. But since then, Lopez has evolved into one of the NBA's most respected big men, particularly on the defensive end. Now 37 years old, Lopez is nearing the end of his career. But don't let the age fool you, he's still producing at a high level. This past season, he averaged 13 points, 5 rebounds, and nearly 2 assists per game. More importantly, he continued to anchor one of the best defenses in the league, using his size, timing, and experience to alter shots and control the paint. He's also one of the few true centers in the league who can space the floor. His three-point shot forces opposing bigs to step out, opening up lanes for guards and wings. That kind of versatility is rare, and extremely valuable, especially when paired with someone like LeBron James. The Lakers know what Lopez brings. And even though he may not be a long-term solution, especially with the front office also thinking about the future and potentially pairing someone with Luka Doncic in the years ahead, Lopez fits the bill as a short-term, high-impact piece. Let's not forget, the Lakers are in win-now mode. LeBron James isn't getting any younger. And while the team still has pieces in their prime, they can't afford to waste another season. That's why a proven playoff-tested veteran like Brook Lopez could be the perfect stopgap. Of course, it won't be easy. The Lakers don't have the salary cap flexibility to simply sign Lopez outright. Any potential move would likely require a sign-and-trade deal, something that brings its own set of challenges. But the Lakers do have assets. They have draft picks. They have young players. And they have the motivation to get something done. At this point, it's clear that Lopez isn't the only name on their list, but he might be one of the most realistic. Across the league, options at center are limited. High-level big men who can both defend the rim and shoot from outside don't grow on trees. The Lakers aren't just looking for someone taller than Jackson Hayes. They're looking for someone who can change games, especially in the postseason. And while Lopez might not be the flashiest name, his fit is almost tailor-made for this roster. He doesn't need the ball to be effective. He won't take touches away from LeBron or others. He simply does his job, night in and night out, on both ends of the floor. But there's one more layer to all of this: chemistry. Lopez has been in high-pressure situations before. He's played with Giannis. He's won a championship. He understands what it takes to get through a playoff grind. And for a team like the Lakers, who are desperate to squeeze one more title run out of LeBron's remaining years, that kind of experience is invaluable. Still, the big question remains: is Brook Lopez interested in a reunion? That part's not clear yet. The Bucks have good reason to want to keep him. He's been a critical part of their success. But if Milwaukee decides to go in a younger direction, or if Lopez wants one last shot at a title alongside LeBron, the door might be open. What's clear is that the Lakers are being aggressive. They know the clock is ticking. They know the West isn't getting any easier. And they know they can't afford another early exit. Brook Lopez might not be a permanent fix. He might not be a name that gets fans jumping out of their seats. But he could be exactly what this team needs, right now. You know, when the Lakers were knocked out in the first round of the playoffs, fans around the world were left asking the same burning question: what now? After everything, the hype, the effort, the late-season push, Los Angeles came up short. Again. And with LeBron James still playing at an elite level despite pushing 40, there's no room for mistakes anymore. Every roster decision counts. Every contract matters. And every player on that roster needs to bring real value. So it's no surprise that the trade rumors are heating up. The Lakers are exploring every avenue to improve the team. They know time is running out. They need help in the paint, they need more consistent perimeter defense, and they definitely need to get younger while still competing now. And one name that keeps popping up in these conversations? Austin Reeves. Now let's take a moment to talk about Reeves. This guy has had a journey. From being undrafted out of college to starting for the Los Angeles Lakers, that's not just a Cinderella story, that's rare. And during the regular season, he showed why the team believes in him. Reeves put up career highs across the board. Over 20 points per game, nearly 6 assists, more than 4 rebounds, and he shot just under 38% from three-point range. Those aren't just solid numbers, they're borderline all-star caliber for a guard in today's NBA. He wasn't just a role player either. There were nights when Reeves was the second-best player on the court for LA, especially when LeBron or former Lakers star Anthony Davis were dealing with injuries. He took big shots. He ran the offense. He played with poise. And the fans bought in, hard. But then came the playoffs. And in the postseason, things shifted. Reeves struggled to find his rhythm. His efficiency dipped. He wasn't making the same impact, especially in key moments. Suddenly, the narrative around him started to change. People began asking if he was really the long-term answer. Was he just a regular season guy? Could the Lakers move him in a trade to get a much-needed rim protector or a more complete two-way guard? Despite all the noise, sources close to the organization say the Lakers are not in a rush to trade Reeves, and for good reason. According to Dan Woik of the Los Angeles Times, the Lakers are only willing to part with Reeves if the return is undeniable, and we're talking about a true difference-maker, not just a serviceable center. He's just 26 years old. He plays smart. He's tough. He works relentlessly on his game. And perhaps most importantly, he has the trust of the coaching staff and his teammates. That's not easy to replace. You can find big men who block shots. You can't always find guys who can handle the ball, hit tough shots, and compete every single night. Now, let's be honest, Reeves isn't perfect. Defensively, he's still a liability in certain matchups. He struggles against quicker guards, and he can get bullied by stronger wings. But the Lakers aren't ignoring that. They're working with him. Internally, there's hope that he can become a passable defender. Not a stopper, but someone who doesn't get targeted every possession. And if he gets there, you're looking at a complete player. The reality is that the Lakers are trying to walk a very delicate line. On one hand, they have to contend right now because of LeBron. On the other hand, they don't want to throw away every young asset and pick, only to end up in a rebuild in 2 years with nothing to show for it. That's why Reeves is so important. He represents the bridge between now and what comes next. Yes, the Lakers need to upgrade at center. Jackson Hayes didn't quite pan out, and they need someone more consistent, especially on defense. But they're looking at creative solutions. Sign and trades. Mid-level exceptions. Moving draft picks or role players, not core pieces like Reeves. Because make no mistake, Reeves is part of the core. Sure, fans and media will continue to debate his value. That's just how it goes in LA. But when you look at the numbers, the growth, and the way the team talks about him, one thing becomes crystal clear. If any team wants Reeves, they're going to have to overpay. And that's not just about stats. It's about how he fits in the locker room. It's about the trust he's built. It's about his potential. Look, barring something totally unexpected, Austin Reeves is staying in Los Angeles. And that's not just a front office decision. That's a bet. A bet that he hasn't hit his ceiling yet. That with a full off-season of work, with some added muscle, and with experience under his belt, Reeves can come back better than ever. And if the Lakers are right, that could be the difference between another early exit and one more championship banner hanging in the rafters at Crypto.com Arena. So don't count him out just yet. The Reeves story, it's still being written. And next season, he might just remind everyone exactly why the Lakers never wanted to let him go. The Lakers face a tough balancing act. Their cap space is tight, and the free agent market offers very few viable centers who could dramatically improve the team's defense. That leaves the trade route as the most realistic path to upgrade the roster, and that's where Nick Claxton's name keeps surfacing. On paper, Claxton seems like the ideal solution. At 26 years old, he's young enough to fit the Lakers' potential timeline, especially as the franchise begins preparing for life after LeBron. He's a proven rebounder and one of the better shot blockers in the league, offering the kind of rim protection the Lakers desperately need. Plus, Claxton is versatile enough to guard smaller players on switches, which aligns perfectly with today's pace-and-space NBA and the defensive versatility a contender requires. However, there are some caveats. Claxton's statistical output has dipped since his breakout seasons in Brooklyn. Last year, his averages, around 10.3 points, 7.4 rebounds, and 2.2 assists per game, don't exactly scream game-changer. For a player commanding a salary north of $66 million over the next 3 years, those numbers raise questions about value and impact. The financial side is a major sticking point. The Lakers must decide if investing such a significant portion of their salary cap in Claxton makes sense, especially if his production doesn't improve. They risk losing flexibility to sign other key role players or make additional moves if they commit too heavily here. Some within the organization argue that Claxton's decline in numbers is more circumstantial than reflective of his true ability. The Brooklyn Nets have been a chaotic environment over the past couple of seasons, marked by superstar drama, constant roster shakeups, and instability. Claxton hasn't had consistent support or a stable system to thrive in, which could explain why his performance plateaued. Moving to Los Angeles could be just the fresh start Claxton needs. Surrounded by LeBron, former Lakers big man Anthony Davis, and a veteran core, his role would be clearly defined. He wouldn't be asked to carry the offense but rather to anchor the defense, control the glass, and bring energy night in and night out. That kind of stability and clarity could allow him to flourish and regain his earlier form. Still, the Lakers must proceed cautiously. Their recent history includes near misses and failed trade pursuits, like the collapse of a potential deal for Mark Williams, which serve as reminders that gambles can backfire. Time is also a factor. LeBron's prime years are slipping away, and each off-season without meaningful improvement tightens the window for contention. Besides Claxton, other options remain in the mix. Players like Daniel Gafford or even potential sign-and-trade deals involving veteran big men could surface. The Lakers front office has expressed a clear stance. They won't settle for a mediocre upgrade. Any acquisition must be a clear step forward, elevating the team's defensive presence and overall competitiveness. This approach explains why reports suggest the Lakers are reluctant to trade Austin Reeves unless they receive a true elite talent in return. Given that Claxton might not meet that threshold, it complicates trade negotiations. Unless Brooklyn significantly lowers their asking price or includes additional assets, the Lakers could walk away from Claxton talks entirely. From a fit perspective, Claxton's profile is appealing. His defensive skills address a glaring Lakers weakness, and his youth and athleticism add an important dynamic. He offers length, quickness, and a defensive mindset, all vital for battling the West's rising young teams like the Timberwolves, Nuggets, and Thunder. However, the cost is steep, both financially and in terms of assets, and there's no guarantee Claxton can return to his peak form. If the Lakers overpay, it could hamstring their roster flexibility, limiting options to improve in other areas. That brings us back to the fundamental tension defining the Lakers' off-season strategy, balancing the immediate win-now urgency with thoughtful roster construction for the near future. The front office must build a team that can maximize this championship window without mortgaging everything for a short-term fix. So where does that leave the Lakers? Nick Claxton may be the right player, but only if the price is right. A fair deal that doesn't involve sacrificing key role players or draft assets, and doesn't cripple the salary cap, could make him a cornerstone of the Lakers' frontcourt for years. But if the Nets push too hard or if Claxton fails to regain his form, the Lakers could be left with another gamble that doesn't pay off. For now, the Lakers are exercising patience and prudence. They're running every scenario, assessing every offer, and ensuring their next move brings them closer to that elusive 18th championship banner. In Los Angeles, anything less than winning is unacceptable, and the stakes couldn't be higher.